Hey guys, welcome to another FuzeDrive TV Friday. And guys, we're here bringing you some more glorious information about FuzeDrive. But before we do that, I wanted to introduce my lovely other people that I work with. I don't want to say co-hosts, because co-host means that we host together. I want to say co-people, because we exist together.
That applies to a lot of people.
Yeah, see? So we all work together. Anyway.
Well, you're a solipsist, so I'm not sure that you agree with that.
What?
Anyway.
I was like, caught off guard by all that. All right. So, guys, introduce yourselels.
Hi, I'm Eric, and I work at Inmodus.
I'm Zach, and I do the same.
Trust me, they're more casual than you think. They're very excited. So, well, I mean, it's a lot's been going on. We haven't been here for the last 2 weeks. There's probably been a lot going on with you guys, though, right? You know, like,
sure.
Like, care to elaborate? Like, is there a lot, like, anything we can talk about here, or anything that's going on with you guys personally?
I don't know. Can I talk about the thing yet? No. God.
See, there's. All right. Well, how was your weekend?
Weekend. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I have a 4-year-old, so...
Your weekend doesn't exist, technically. Okay.
I was just playing a lot of games, playing a lot of homework.
Playing a lot of games and playing a lot of homework. Is that testing the games was playing your homework? Or how do you play your homework in general?
It's lots of watching things fail, but...
Okay.
and hoping that eventually succeeds.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you're doing a lot of testing on a game for homework.
Yes.
There we go. Because the way it made it sound like you were just playing with your homework, going, I don't want to do it. It's just right there, and it's calculus, and it's going to be annoying, and I don't want to push that paper over. So, but yeah, no, that's how I kind of saw it. Yeah, for me, it was actually, what was it? I was doing a lot of homework myself, too. And that's kind of the thing where it's like, and it was for like most of my digital classes. And the thing I found really kind of frustrating over time was that like Adobe itself, since it updates a lot, it always ends up storing, and then the cache itself, like, yeah, you can make your own cache disk, which I do have, but for some reason, even after that time, it will keep updating within, like, because you know how they work on a cloud now, right? So they keep updating everything over and over again, and that's kind of where, like, I see a lot of my problems happening, even though I have, like, 4 SSD drives, and I have, like, 1 HDD drive. And that's the thing was, like, for me, it's always really kind of that frustrating part where I try to always get everything onto the drives and make sure they work. And since I do other stuff with my drives, I'm always constantly shifting around.
Right.
You know, so it's one of those things where it's like it always kind of gives me like this like over this kind of dreadful feeling where it's like, oh my god, like I don't know like what's going to happen with all this space, and then after times like you forget about it, and then it happens again, and it now just reinserts itself to you having that.
I think you're suffering from what we call capacity anxiety here at Inmodus. You just have this feeling where you never have enough space to do what you want.
I guess this is ultimately true. What is capacity anxiety? This sounds like a cheesy setup, but trust me, this is a real thing.
well, I mean, the EV owners, especially the early adopters, they had range anxiety because you get in your car and you're going to go X, distance, and you're, well, I can do this if we don't have a detour or I get lost. So it's similar to that. Capacity anxiety is, do I have enough space for Red Dead Redemption 2? Because it's 112 gigabytes, and I have a 128 gig SSD, and it's not going to happen because I have all this other games. So it's about shuttling things back and forth. It's about I'm just completely out of space because I'm a data hoarder. I definitely have that problem.
I think everybody does. I mean, like for me, like I do it also on my backup on my scratch disk along with it. So the other part I didn't disclose is like I have other files of things to save, like backed up like 6 phones worth of like photos and stuff. And I feel like that old person where I shouldn't even care because there's a cloud anyway. Right. But I just feel like there's like that ultimate fail safe. So like when I have to rearrange space constantly, it's always frustrating. And I guess you're right. I mean, like having that idea of like capacity anxiety is a big thing because even for a lot of people who don't do a lot of streaming or content creation, like we still run into it with just even other programs. It may not be as frequent, with stuff we do, but I mean, I'm pretty sure other people experience as much as we have to some point. Oh yeah. So, I mean, what about yourself? Have you experienced the feeling?
I no longer experience the feeling. I switched to using FuzeDrive on my home system. I don't have to worry about that.
But what a company show!
I know. He didn't even try to realize. He immediately launched into like, I don't face it. Like Thanks, Superman.
But I still have to deal with it in my personal life though, because I've been trying to teach my girlfriend how to manage data across multiple drives because I haven't set that system up yet. But
do you ever get frustrated with that? It's like you're trying to teach someone. It doesn't even matter if it's your girlfriend. It's like if your grandpa or somebody else, you try to teach them something. You're like, to you in your head, you have it down. But when you teach it to somebody else, it's like, it should be this easy. Click, 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 and there you go. And then they're just like, what?
I knew I had to drive to LA in the morning, but she was also trying to work on homework. So I stayed up. I asked, hey, can I remote back into your system? Can I set some things up? Because I tried to explain to her, like, when you install big new things, put them on the hard drive. And that just didn't click with her, I guess. She assumed that I had set everything up to download there for her, but I didn't do that. And then so I had to move around. Like she installed the new Unreal Engine, and that took up like 30 gigs on her system, and I only had a 128 gig SSD in that system to begin with.
Yeah. And
that just wasn't enough. She had 3 gigs available on the SSD, and things just started behaving a little strange, and that's where I had to come in and spend like 2 hours moving things back and forth. And this would have all been easier if I had planned ahead and put FuzeDrive on the system. But
it's all right, man. It's all right. Everyone has those moments where we forget to do something, and like I agree with you on that part where it's like it would have probably shortcutted a lot, especially that we see so much of today's programs being updated. And when these, I mean, like you said too, like for me, like when I installed Unreal, I was thinking, oh, it's just a shell, it shouldn't be as much. And then there's this whole engine where it's like we're giving you the engine, but you just need to put new different parts to make the car drive. You're just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it also comes with all the tutorial ones built in, so you have other projects already installed with it.
Yeah, those are also fun too. And like it's funny because I actually started off on learning on Unreal because like everybody told me to learn Unreal, and then like when I get into school, immediately I'm told, oh, we're using Unity instead. I'm like, come on, this isn't even fair. So I mean, so is she learning with Unreal too with you, or you guys learn Unity, or what do you guys use yours?
She's working on a project in Unreal for a local museum, so that's what she's using it for.
Nice. A local museum near USC. That wouldn't be the next. Alright, going back to the main point. But like we were saying, guys, ultimately we're looking at programs, not just programs, games themselves, constantly updating. Right. And that takes up time. I mean, like for certain things, they know how to allocate and put them specifically. Like, here you can make, like we said, Adobe can put like a scratch disk somewhere else. But a lot of times, games immediately target your C or anything that you're using most of the time. And even then, even if you're just updating on certain things, it just starts to grow and grow. I mean, like you said, 112. Like, that's insanity. Like, I shouldn't have to spend like. I mean, granted, with the internet today, it's a little bit faster, so we're not like it's not like it used to be 112, and you're like, oh.
But it's those giant open worlds, so immersive. You love that kind of thing.
I stand by my decision. It is Grand Theft Auto with the Western skin.
Right, exactly.
They did nothing more than that.
Our headphone users really don't like when you bang the desk.
I'm sorry. I'm just adamant, so I'll just place hand and go like. No, it doesn't work. Okay. So. But no, I mean, like, it's just, I stand by it. It's just, I don't think that they really did much more besides just reskin and air. Like, I think they've had a lot of map outs, and they could have just cleared other things and reskinned it. But then again, so yes, there was some building, but I'm pretty sure somebody shortcut it because that was too fast to make Red Dead Redemption 2 happen. I know that it's been years, but if you had a whole team dedicated to Grand Theft Auto, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not buying it. I feel there's something sneaky.
I haven't gotten far enough in there to claim one way or the other.
Oh, you're actually playing it right now?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah. Well, again,
How many bar fights have you been in
so
so
it's
far?
like, I get, everyone's sleeping, you can sneak out and play a little bit.
It's like wife puts her arm over you, like, okay, just sneak out of bed. The only time I've had that experience was when I was a kid and I had to like deal with my parents. That was me sneaking down to play Castlevania.
Right.
See, like, it just be me like at 6 a.m. They're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, dating yourself here. But, oh, yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
Metroid, man, that one. So many hours.
See, I played Metroid and I loved it. I was just the first game that like I loved that kind of gave me there was like it was Castlevania,
right? But
it was like Simon Belmont number 2. So like, and people hated that game because like it had no point. So, But I mean, yeah, even with games and how they're going towards like their constant updates, we also see stuff like the new Call of Duty is bigger and it has a lot of texturizing, but it's also because they're adding more into it. So I guess with the update, we keep seeing more and more like this happen. But like again, we want to make sure that like we don't keep hitting these walls, and like I think that's the big thing is like why don't we do more to buy like an SSD or go out and buy another HDD and like just use that with something else. Like
if you got the money, sure, you can go all flash and get something gigantic and rate it together, perhaps.
Well, that's all I'm about is flash. I mean, haven't you seen this jacket?
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
all flash, no cash.
Exactly right. As they like to call me, sweet and low daddy. No, I'm just kidding. That couldn't even get. I'm kidding about that comment. I just like to use it in some excuse, and nobody calls me that by any means.
Yeah, so
And if they did,
now you are going to be called that.
I don't want to be called that.
So one of the issues with like using the full hard drive setup I found is I tried using the full hard drive setup on some of the newer games.
Yeah.
And some of the cutscenes are expecting so much throughput in order to not be choppy.
Yeah.
Like I have plenty of powerful hardware to play the cutscene, but it seems like in my case, the hard drive is a bottleneck.
Right. Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. Like that used to be my problem as a kid. Like I would get like I'd buy a computer, get a killer graphics card, and be like, yes, it should run smoothly. I'm like, run it HD full, like let's go hard at this, and then it's just like I was like, Traveler. Oh come on, man! And he's like, or even battle scenes from Diablo 2 that just didn't.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch the nice cutscenes in the new Call of Duty game, and I'm like, what is going on? So I alt tab real quick. I open up Task Manager, and I see, oh, my hard drive is maxed out. Yeah. That was the issue, and so that's when I was like, okay, I definitely need to put this on my FuzeDrive.
Yeah,
and that made things considerably better.
So
I had a similar thing with another friend of mine from high school. He wanted to play the new Call of Duty with us, and so we were playing that for quite a while that day. He had it on his small SSD in his system, and then we're like, oh, let's go switch and play a different game for the rest of the night. He's like, sorry guys, but in order to download the new Call of Duty, I need to delete some other games, and that one was one of the ones I chose. And so we all had to wait for him while he moved some other things around and reinstalled the game he previously had, and it would just. We wouldn't have wasted so much time if you didn't have to do that.
It really is. Like that's literally my problem. It's like when I go and I stream or I'm going to do some editing and I'm like, dude, this is going to be a power heavy like kind of thing I'm going to do. A lot of the times I get met again with the same issues, like the bottlenecking, and it happens. And like, but the problem is like now I have to stop, and then I have to comb through all the files to go back to figure out what I need to do. But it's like, it seems like if you have FuzeDrive, you don't have to really worry so much that it's going to be like, oh, here's that slot, here you go, it's already set, put right in, and we got to take care of it.
I've also found when I've stopped working to try to like move things around my computer, it's really hard to sit back down and get back into right where you were.
It really is. It's just so tedious because because everyone has their own methods. I know the best method is to uninstall the program, which I suggest, but then there's certain programs that don't lead that path, and you have to go to that drive and then like delete it, and you're not even sure if that's fully clean. So you've got all this user data that sits there at times.
I mean, the Epic Game Store doesn't even allow you to move games from one drive to another.
Right.
I figured out the way they recommend moving from one drive to another is you take your game, copy the files somewhere else, you uninstall the game. Then you reinstall the game to the drive you want. As soon as it gets to 1% downloaded, you pause the download, move all the files into that folder it created, and then hit resume download and hope that picks up and is like,
is that really a solution?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Verifying files. And that was quite the thing to figure out. That was how you move games on the Epic Game Store. But.
Sounds crappy.
Yeah.
Come on, Tennessee, you can buy out a bunch of games, but you can't fix a copying program.
Right.
Just kidding. But no, and that's the thing is like you see so many things you have to deal with stuff like this, and it's better to have something that allows you to actually get around, having to deal with this tedious, like first having the anxiety and then the task. Because like you said, you don't want to get back up and start working. And you're right. Like I don't. Like I just went through all the files. I'm like, I deserve a break. I've worked really hard on nothing.
Exactly.
It's moving 100 gigs. I'll take a little bit, and I'll watch some TV.
Right.
And you sit down, you start watching TV, and a couple hours later, you're like, oh yeah, I was working on homework, wasn't I? And so
It really does. Like if you, it's like that's why I especially ban myself from any kind of sites like Reddit or anything that becomes a scrolling wheel moment.
Sure.
Because I was like, because the second you're like, well, I don't have much time. It's like copying, so I might as well look at this. And then like 2 hours later, you're like, oh, I was doing homework. You're right. Like I agree. Like that's what I do. I'm like, I should really stop looking at our memes. I read too many art. I know because it was funny. Like they had a meme yesterday where it was like basically, it said like it said r/teenagers, but it was a meme within the meme section, and it showed the r teenagers, and it says how to get a girlfriend by a real girl and information, and then under it had a guy the sacred text, and I was like sitting there going like, yeah, I could see that being in teenagers. Like
describing a meme is always like
it never works. It never translates. Like you could like. I try so hard with certain ones because you're just like, as long as you know, like, because they like the big one right now. Everybody has like it's with the housewives, I think it is, and it's the cat as like your emotions, and it's like other people, and it's the cat always like pointing back at them or something. Like that's how they usually write it. It's supposed to be the contrast. So that's the thing. I'm always like, okay, so that's like the new meme, and like they put so many things to it now. Like so you can't describe that meme and then have the same joke apply to it. It has to be like very specific. So. Yeah, you can never describe memes. Memes are always going to be their own thing.
Well, it's like explaining a joke. It's just it ruins it.
It does. But if somebody catches on to the meme,
you had to be there.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole scenario. Like, but I mean, besides memes, I mean, I guess they could make a meme out of storage drive, especially with your opening line. Like, I want to clip that and make that our follow. It sounds like you suffer from capacity anxiety. I'm like. Wow, man! If we had a John Oliver show, you'd be perfect for one of the skits. Like, so I mean, like, but like you're right. It's having this kind of issue. So like with Fuse, there's a lot to be done because your guys' whole system allows it to sort, using OneDrive and having it delegate where it should go and like optimizing it, right? I mean, like, and how do you
FuzeDrive?
FuzeDrive.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I keep saying Fuse.
Fuse is someone else. Yeah.
Not that person.
Are you thinking the drink? The Fuse
no,
drink?
He's talking about the racing channel.
Yeah,
okay.
That one.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought it was a music channel first.
What was it?
Yeah, Fuse. We've all just given Fuse explanations here. All right, but I mean, ultimately, going back to the main point, us making jokes. So when we look at like Fuse and like its whole FuzeDrive, I just did it again.
Well, it's not. You didn't do HHD today, so that's you're doing good.
What? There's not a such thing as an HHD. A hard of hearing device.
There you go.
There you go. See, it exists to some extent,
and we're not going to tier it. Sorry.
I wanted tiering for that, but no, like especially with like your HDDs and then like with your SSDs, you also see a lot of that stuff, working together now. More people using it. Even myself, I use it, and having the program itself to delegate and say this is more important. I think that's actually ultimately what we're saying. What you guys are basically doing with it, right? I mean, like,
yeah. Our goal is just to make it easier.
So basically, you're going to sort all my recyclables too.
No.
Come on! You said you're making it easier. Like, just easier in the program. Okay, so, but like, and when did you guys kind of notice this is actually something? Because like for me, I never thought about anybody having capacity anxiety, but like I know that feeling. So like, where did you guys kind of like? Did you guys kind of feel like, hey, this does help with that section when you guys did it, or were you guys like, this applies really well to this scenario what we're seeing here?
I think, like Eric said earlier, the term came from the electric vehicles people, but we thought it really fit that feeling of just like I want to install all these games. You're not going to play all of them, but you definitely want to install all of them.
How do you know I'm not going to play all of them? How do you know I'm not going to play all of them? You don't know my life. I went to TFT. I played Destiny last night, and afterwards I went to Tarkov. So they're all there for a reason. Like,
what about the Humble Bundle games?
We're not talking about those games. There's so many to that. Like, who makes?
But we know you want them all there. You're not going to touch all of them, but the ones you do touch will be sped up. They'll be at the performance of your fast media, whether that be your NVMe, your SSD.
That's true.
It'll be a better performance and better experience than just like trying to use your hard drives and then oh, this hard drive's out of space. Okay, I have a little bit on my OS SSD, but maybe later I'll need to like install some documents, install some programs. But then, much easier if something else just does the thinking for you.
Right, and then Windows update, and the game updates, and Steam updates, and
all the updates that will keep rolling through no matter what, because they always are constantly fixing everything. That just feels like the internet in general. But again, if you think about it too, it's like all buildings. You can't just leave one building sitting there and over time have a decay. So it means there's always going to be that constant evolution of updating and making sure,
Sure.
And if there's a time of year you're going to be suffering from the what do we call it, capacity anxiety, then you're.
How is it you do?
This is the time of year because October, November, that's when all the big games come out. October 25th, I think it was the Call of Duty. It was the Outer Worlds, and then I think today the new Star Wars game from the Titanfall people. That's coming out today.
Actually, that was 2 days ago, wasn't it?
I think it's today.
It was today.
Yeah,
okay.
It was available
because I saw other people playing it earlier this week.
I think
it could have been reviewers.
Yeah, EA likes all those things. If you pre-order this special edition or this special edition, you might get 3 days early or 2 days early.
Well, because you also got Death Stranding just came out too.
Yeah.
And it's like, but then again, that's a PS4, but eventually coming to the PC, we'll probably see it be pretty fat because the textures were not small. But and it's Kojima, so. But we saw that happen this week. We also saw that the new Terminator came out. They actually released a full RPG that was not supposed to launch until later, but now
I didn't hear about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's like an RPG. It's Terminator. I can't remember the thing. It's like Terminator. Oh gosh, it's tying into the movie.
Sure. Salvation.
No, it's not. I want to say no. It's something where it's like between. Here, hold on.
No
phone on this.
We're not doing that.
All right, hey Google. No.
Paching.
Oh, mine was Siri. Hey Siri. But no, there was a lot of games that released this week in general. So I mean, even now I still have to go back today. Because today I'm going all right, well I got to do a Death Stranding, and then now I got to put in the new Terminator, and then I'm I think I purposely held off on Red Dead for a reason, because I was I want to play something about cowboys. I don't care about Grand Theft Auto, but getting in bar fights and robbing people, that was all up in my alley. I was Western times seem better than
you're gonna have to play for quite a while to be able to have the bar fights and the actual Western gameplay.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, now why? Now I want to know.
No.
There's a whole thing. You're stuck in a blizzard.
I bought a PS4. It came with it, and I was like, I'm just gonna play a little bit of it because I know I don't want to play the game until it's on PC. Yeah. So, but so I put it in. And I was like, I'll just run around on a horse in a Western world for a little bit. And I was like, wait, what's this? I'm in the snow.
Yeah, you were doing the single player, right?
Yeah, I was in the snow. I was like, this doesn't look like Red Dead, but apparently eventually you make it to the desert.
Hey, Red Dead Redemption is about anywhere. It doesn't have to be in a desert. It's just cowboys. It's like everybody pirates. Everyone thought pirates had to make accurate history sense, and none of it does.
If they don't look like Johnny Depp, they're not pirates.
They're really not.
No.
To me, that's all what pirates is.
Yeah.
And especially with new. And if you think about it, speaking of pirates, we also talk about streaming platforms and how people now are also looking for new ways to store their videos and also store because we say games. But also,
speaking of pirates, wait, what now?
Speaking of pirates, quote, unquote, no, but I'm just saying,
we prefer to call those content distributors.
Actually, I was going to say because Disney just launched their
redistributors.
Yeah. I was just going to say because Disney was so amazing in making their new streaming platform, I thought about digital actually. That should have been the triangulation, not the other kind of pirates. But I was just saying, with streaming platforms themselves bringing out videos, people also are now looking for ways to after they watch something, they'll buy it off Amazon, and they'll either get I know with the Amazon it's stored on their cloud, but we're also talking about people who don't use
a home Plex server,
kind of a bit, where people are because even for me, I used Plex for a while when I bought a bunch of stuff from Violent Blue or Violent Purple. I can't remember what it was. Violent something. It was they had Blu-ray and then there was
Ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet. There we go.
All right.
And it kept trying for this last year. It was trying to update me, saying you need to download your videos. I'm all what am I downloading? I'm so. But also, it's it comes with that fact of where people, if they don't want to run, off Amazon or sites, you can actually use storage from what you guys are providing, to catalog their own libraries off Plex. So. Yeah. I think that's awesome, though. Because now that you have more room for all that, because really we're moving towards those kind of computers in the future, right? It's great to see more storage drives.
Yeah, hard drives are only getting bigger. SSDs are only getting bigger, and and it's but you'll still. But the thing is the content's also getting bigger. So
Yeah.
I don't know which one's growing faster.
Whew, that's rough because even NASA didn't get that part, and their computers are still far behind.
Right.
Those are guys who are calculating for us right in the moon tracker, but that's something you're right about. I mean, like we don't like what is getting faster and what's getting bigger because each one keeps making those leaps and bounds, and that's why we always meet at CES every year to kind of see where everyone's at. It's kind of like that checkup mark where it's like, what have you guys been working on? Like, well, this, you know, so. I always know that. How do you guys always feel about when you go to like CES? Do you always feel like it's like kind of like something that gives inspiration and lets you kind of go like, hey, this is a cool idea. We can do this for some more of our stuff. Or you guys kind of like, it's not the biggest thing to us.
It's not me that goes to CES. I get to watch CES,
Right.
but not all of us are as special as you apparently. But yeah,
Look, man, I got locked in a hotel room, and that's not even on a good sense. That's
no.
It's always fun to see the new tech that's coming that I can't afford. So.
Exactly.
This is true. This
Yeah.
is true. And they have a lot of different kind of like wares they have going on they'd never even see market. You just like you see the product of it.
Yeah, vaporware.
Yeah. Like it's cool seeing all the crazy big NVMEs that are crazy fast, but
You never see them happen.
I won't ever see it in my system. I can't afford that. But like.
This is true. The price point, and see that's the other part too that we look at is like the price point for different hardware. Like I mean, what you guys are asking is like a fraction of what you would see like from like buying a full hard drive or going out and trying to find a hard drive that's decent but not too cheap.
Right.
The nice thing with FuzeDrive is you can buy an extremely cheap hard drive because you're not going to be playing your games off of the hard drive. It's there to hold the stuff that you're not touching.
Yeah.
And so it being in more of an archival purpose just needs to be big, cheap, and hopefully somewhat reliable. And
perfect, you found me. Not just kidding.
So yeah, for my home use, I found like a 4 terabyte drive was a good like balance to price and size, and I've only filled probably 2 to 3/4 of it to this point. So eventually I'll have to upgrade that again, but. For now, the 4 terabytes good. And
then you're going to want another backup drive on top of that.
And just my SSD is a couple hundred gigs, and I have that just attached to my FuzeDrive. And sometimes I forget the FuzeDrive's there, but that's the goal.
Right.
See, but I mean, that's what people are going to forget is that if it's there and it's operating in the background, I would guess ultimately, as they always say, silent actions of things that you don't think about when you're doing. So I mean, if people get so used to it, I mean, heck, wouldn't that mean you guys just became a household name and an action of computer?
Yeah, like the goal is that you sit down at your computer and you don't think, I'm going to use my FuzeDrive today. It's I'm going to use my computer today.
And that's ultimately the way you want it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I agree. I think it's great that you guys get that opportunity to like be that because I mean, like, I'm excited for the fact that you get to do more with your drives instead of just less. Because I mean, like, this is something you don't really pay attention to that often, like how it's getting sorted. A lot of people just think it's a drive, drag and drop, it's done. So they don't realize all the information going back and forth between the two. So, man, that is a lot itself to like encompass there. I mean, like, is there anything else that I forgot with this? Like, I mean, because like I mean, Fuse itself, like we discussed what it's doing to archive everything, right? Like, the whole process itself is sped up because it's working between the two drives themselves.
Yeah, just moving the things you use to the fast stuff, and the stuff you don't gets moved to the slow stuff.
Is there anything else? Because I think we were talking about like, is like when you're like, will you see more improvements off certain drives while using FuzeDrive, or because like that's what we're talking about is like the capacity, and like you were saying, even with the frames, how it was improving with like the gameplay because you were kind of hit and throw. Like before that even happens, you'll get warned or anything. Is there any kind of like stuff that we should be aware of with that? Like
warning of what?
Well, I mean, like example, like okay, so like if you're using FuzeDrive, will you see the same? Because like I was just thinking about it right now, like with capacity anxiety, will you see with FuzeDrive, like let's say like, hey, you're getting too close, and let them know, or will it allocate without bugging or pestering them?
When what is too close?
Sorry, when filling up. That's what I mean.
When
like,
filling up the whole the
whole
drives
drive,
themselves. It to you it looks just like a regular drive in Windows. So if you fill it up, that's you filling up the drives.
Right.
Like
and Windows starts bugging you.
I think Windows bugs you like, oh, you're like 90% capacity, but like
and now it's even worse because they like allocate this extra space for updates, and so you even have less. It seems like
with 1909 coming out, they're going to take another like some amount of space off the end of your drive again. Just because they
and probably more recovery.
Yeah, more recoveries and.
then you'll have that second dead recovery on top of that they love to put there.
Wow. There's a lot of recoveries in there.
Yeah.
So basically, it's so flawless. It just acts like a regular hard drive itself and just moves on with no other issues.
Yeah, you set up your backup, you set up any of your disk management tools. It's all just a regular drive.
So then why aren't people actually doing more? You know, like, why aren't they, you know, like, just go out and grab FuzeDrive? And, like, doesn't it seem like it would be the better idea right now then?
That's what we're trying to preach here.
Right. Preach, brother.
See?
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, ultimately, that seems like everything we want to talk about. He's like, is there anything else we should be aware of with, like, you know, capacity anxiety? Any tips that helps people if they're not going to at least, you know, check out FuzeDrive? You know, because I mean, so far, I think, I don't know, like, because you know how people are, they can be skeptical about things,
sure.
You know. But like, if there's any way that you can help them maintain without, you know, trying to go over, you know, I guess even more problems or stuff like that. Like, is there any tips you have for people, or are you just going to straight up say like, get FuzeDrive, stop wasting your time?
I don't think you're really in control of how big the games are getting. So like, your options are either to continue getting rid of the games that you were just playing a week ago to play the new game
or
this
at least
week,
shuttling over to the hard
or
drive
trying to
and
move them
shuttling back and
around
forth.
if the application allows you to move it around.
Right.
Right. So in other words, we should just get FuzeDrive and stop messing around,
FuzeDrive.
right? Like, see, and I know, guys, ultimately you would think that it's just me trying to plug this, but this is one of the things where I tell people, I go like, I don't usually like to get behind stuff and say to do something if I don't believe in it. And the fact that we get to discuss this openly with you guys and being like honest about it and like stuff like that,
right.
It really, I think it's better for a lot of people to understand more that way. Because
sure.
Like for a lot of you guys don't know, you know, like I do come here and I do the show, but the thing is they have all the knowledge and I'm genuinely asking questions off the bat to talk to them because I want to know as much as you guys do and seeing the improvements of this, you know, and like a lot of the times we don't get, you know, to have discussions with hardware companies. We only get snippets and bits. And these guys are honestly coming out to talk to you guys and let you know more about, you know, FuzeDrive. And Zach always shoots me an awkward look no matter what because I think he's just trying to like stare me down and be like, I'm the superior person. And I'm like, I don't know, Zach, you are, but I just...
It does sound like Zach.
He has that intimidation factor.
It's more of your statements confuse me sometimes.
I confuse myself. But I guess more or less it's like also too for the fact that I get to formulate a lot of the questions on the fly, so that way you guys understand that like whatever does arise, I am going to ask it no matter what. And like we can have these nice moments where we discuss what the idea is, but it's also allowing, you know, me to say like, okay, well I thought this is how this works, or is there anything else? Because like pretty much with capacity anxiety, we discussed a lot from, you know, like the feeling to it to how, you know, combat it, and how you guys literally just like, what? We don't even have to worry about it.
I think that's enough information to take in today.
Right? I know I agree with you, and so with that, guys, you know, I think that's everything here at FuzeDrive TV. I want to say thank you guys. Is there any nice words you guys have for everybody in the weekend?
Have a good weekend.
Come on, Zach. Like, you're so about my confusing questions. That wasn't confusing. That was you saying, have a good weekend.
I was letting Eric talk. It's been a while.
Fine.
I agree with him. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, have a good one.
Yeah.